We continue now at the top of Daf Yud Gimel Amid Beis Meseches Shevuos. This is Shevuos Daf 13b. On the previous Amid, the Gemara had a contradiction in Brisas. One Brisa said that Yom Kippur can be mechaper even if the person does not do Teshuvah, and the other Brisa said the person needs to do Teshuvah in order for Yom Kippur to be mechaper. And Rava suggested on the previous Amid that both Brisas really follow Rebbe, that in general one does not need to do Teshuvah in order to get kapara. However, when it comes to violation of Yom Kippur itself, where you get kares on Yom Kippur itself, so there you actually wouldn't need to do Teshuvah, because if we did not say that you needed to do Teshuvah, so then there would never be kares on Yom Kippur. Anytime someone would violate Yom Kippur would automatically be mechaper, and that's why we have to say that. And the Gemara says it's not necessarily true. It's not necessarily true that you have to say such a thing, because maybe the person violated Yom Kippur at night, and only the daytime of Yom Kippur is mechaper. So it is possible to get kares on Yom Kippur. But the Gemara continues and says, no, but still, kares diyamama l'Rebbe lesle, but you're never going to have kares during the daytime of Yom Kippur. And the Gemara again asks, Alamala, but why not? We could come up with a case where you would have kares during the daytime. Mashkachas lo, you can find such a situation. Da'achal umtza v'chin keyumes. Let's say he ate some meat and then he choked on it and he died, and there was not even one moment of Yom Kippur which was able to be mechaper. Inami or da'achal samach l'shkias hachama. Let's say he ate right by sunset. D'lo havishos l'chapurele. Again, there was no time for Yom Kippur to be mechaper for him. And Rashi explains, Umakshinan, and we ask, V'kares diyamama l'Rebbe lesle, kares of the daytime, according to Rebbe, there's not going to be any kares. Bitmiya, the Gemara is asking that as a question. V'habehed yuksiv kares diyamama. It says explicitly that there's kares during the day of Yom Kippur. D'chsiv bein be'inoi bein be'malacha, whether we're talking about the afflictions of Yom Kippur or malacha on Yom Kippur, it says be'etzem hayom hazah on this day, so we know there is kares. And so again, that's why the Gemara suggested it must be that you need to do teshuvah in order to get rid of that kares. Otherwise, you would never have a scenario of kares. But then the Gemara says it's not true. It could be that Yom Kippur automatically is mechaper, and you can have the following scenarios. Number one, v'chin kase, again, the person chokes while he's eating, shelo avar olav regamin hayom la'achar aveiraso. There was not even a moment of Yom Kippur that happened after his aveira. Or it could be samach l'shkias hacham. It could be when shkias hacham is coming, when sunset is coming. Imtseis hayom, as the day is leaving, shelo avar rega biyom achar aveira. Again, there was not even a moment in the day after the transgression. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, Echad Yisrael, v'echad Kohanim, v'echad Kohen Mashuach, whether Yisraelim, whether Kohanim, whether the Kohen Gadol, they achieve the atonement in the same fashion. And the Gemara says, Hagufa Kasha, the Mishnah itself is internally contradictory in this line. Katani, first it says, Echad Yisrael, v'echad Kohanim, v'echad Kohen Mashuach. It says, Yisraelim, Kohanim, the Kohen Gadol, they're all the same. V'hadar Tani, and then all of a sudden the Mishnah says, Ma bein Yisrael Kohanim ula Kohen Mashuach. What's the difference between Yisraelim and the Kohanim and the Kohen Gadol? So it seems that there's a difference. And the Gemara explains the Mishnah as follows. Amar Rav Yehuda says, Hachi Kamar. This is what the Mishnah means to say. Echad Yisrael v'echad Kohanim v'echad Kohen Mashuach mischaprin b'seir hamishtaleach b'shar averos. When it comes to Yisraelim, Kohanim, and the Kohen Gadol, they are the same. They get the same kapara with the seir hamishtaleach la'azazel. That's for all other averos. That's a kapara for all other averos. V'yein chiluk b'neim. There's no difference there's no difference between them in that regard. Uma ben Yisrael Kohanim ula Kohen Mashuach. And what is the difference between Yisraelim and Kohanim and the Kohen Gadol? Ela shahapar mechaper al Kohanim al tumas mikdash v'kadashav. The difference is that when it comes to the Kohanim by tumas mikdash v'kadashav, so there it's the par that affects the kapara and not the soyer. As the Gemara now continues and explains, Umani, and who is the author of this part of the Mishnah? Rabbi Yehudi. It's Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya, as we learned in a brisa, v'chiper es mikdash hakodesh, it says it's going to be a kapara. Zelifnai v'lifnim. This refers to what's done in the kodesh kadashim. And as Oel Moed, when it says Oel Moed zehechol, that refers to the hechol, the Beis HaMikdash, the kodesh. And mizbeach, when it says the word mizbeach kemashmo, that means the mizbeach. And yechaper, when it says it will be a kapara, elu azoros, that refers to the courtyards. Kohanim kemashmo, and the word kohanim, that means the kohanim as it sounds like. Am hakol, and when it says am hakol, elu Yisrael, that's Yisraelim. And yechaper, when it says yechaper, elu halavim, that refers to the Leviim. And the point over here is hushvu kulan, they are all equal. Lechapara achas, they are all equal in terms of atonement. They have the same atonement. Shemischaprin b'seir hamishtaleach b'shar averos. They're all the same. That when it comes to the seir hamishtaleach by other averos, they all get a kapara using the seir hamishtaleach. And Rashi explains, "V'chiper es mikdash hakodesh ba'avodas par u'v'soyer shel Yom HaKippurim ksiv." This pasuk is written by the avodah that's done with the bull and also the goat of Yom Kippur. Hamechaperes al tumas mikdash v'kadoshav. Those are specifically a kapara for tumas mikdash v'kadoshav. This is referring to the par and the sor hanasi lifnim. Zel lifnai v'lifnim. It refers to what happens by the kodesh kadoshim, meaning al tuma she'ira lifnai v'lifnim. Meaning it's a kapara. Here we're talking about the kapara of tumas mikdash v'kadoshav, the kapara of any tumah that happens by the Kodesh Kadoshim. Could go nitma lifnai v'lifnim v'shah kedei hishtachavod mechayev islay al shiyaso. Let's say the person is tamei, again lifnai v'lifnim, and he stays there in that place. And zehechol im nitma v'hechol. Let's say the tumah happens by the hechol. And ze mizbeach hazav. That's the inner golden mizbeach. Im hikter ketores betumah v'shil. Let's say he lights the ketores again and he stays there with tumah. Elu hazaros, the courtyards nichnas la'azara betumah. He enters the azara with tumah. Hushvu kulan bekapara achas. It's all the same kapara, meaning in this last word of kapara at the end of the pasuk, hishva kohanim levim v'Yisraelim. For that, kohanim, levim, and Yisraelim are all the same. They all get the same kapara using the sir hamishtalech by other averos. Whereas when it comes to kapara for tumas mikdash v'kadoshav, where they're not all the same. Because the par, the bull, that provides the kapara for kohanim by tumas mikdash v'kadoshav. Usir hapnimi al Yisrael, and the sir hapnimi, that is the kapara for Yisrael for tumas mikdash v'kadoshav. And the Brisa continues, Rabbi Shimon Omer, Rabbi Shimon says, Kishem shadam so'ir hanasa b'fnim mechaper al Yisrael al tumas mikdash v'kadoshav, just like the blood of the seir hanasa b'fnim is mechaper for Yisraelim for tumas mikdash v'kadoshav, kach dam hapor mechaper al kohanim al tumas mikdash v'kadoshav, so to the blood of the par, that's mechaper for the kohanim for tumas mikdash v'kadoshav. Ukashem sheviduyav shel sor hamishtalech mechaper al Yisrael b'shar averos, and just like the confession over the seir hamishtalech kapara for Yisraelim by other averos, kach viduyav shel par, so too the confession by the par mechaper al kohanim b'shar averos. That's going to be a kapara for kohanim by shar averos. It's not the sir hamishtalech according to Rabbi Shimon. You see that Rabbi Shimon holds that for shar averos there is a difference between Yisraelim and kohanim. And the Gemara continues to Rabbi Shimon. Now, according to Rabbi Shimon, havadai hushvu. So certainly there is supposed to be some kind of equation where they are the same, meaning to say, again, it's one kapara. And so where is that true when it comes to Rabbi Shimon's opinion? And the Gemara explains, according to Rabbi Shimon, my hushvu, what does it mean that kohanim and Yisraelim are the same? Divnei kapara ninu. That just means that they're all going to get a kapara. But miu kol chad v'chad mechaber b'denafshe. But nevertheless, each one is going to get a kapara with its own particular vidui, with its own particular confession. And Rashi explains, Rabbi Shimon Omer kashem shadam hasor levado mechaper al Yisrael b'tumas mikdash belosham vidui. Just like the dam of the goat alone is mechaper for Yisrael by tumas mikdash v'kadashim, you don't need confession. Sharei ein sham vidui b'sir hapnimi. There is no confession by the inner soyer. Kach dam hapar levado below vida mechaper l'kohanim. So too the blood of the par alone is mechaper for kohanim b'tumas mikdash with the tumas mikdash. And the point is vayaser levidui hapar l'shar averos. You therefore still have the confession over the bull, which will work for other averos. And the Gemara then asked, Havadai Hushva, but aren't they the same? Bekapar achas, aren't Kohanim Yisraelim the same in terms of atonement? Vi b'shar averos lo hushvu, but my hushvu, if they're not the same by other averos, in what way are they the same? And the Gemara Umeshani, the Gemara answered, Hushvu divnei kapara ninu. They're the same that they get kapara. Lekach hushvu lelamed chashiyesh lekulam kapara. It just means to say they all have a way of atonement. Bein b'tumas mikdash, bein b'shar averos. Whether by tumas mikdash or other averos, mio kol chad b'denafshe, elu b'par, ve'elu b'sar, but each one with its own. These ones with the bull and these ones with the soyer. And the Gemara continues, my time made Rabbi Shimon. What's the reason of Rabbi Shimon? What's the source? Because it's written in the pasuk v'lokaches shnei hasirim. It says that he's going to take the two goats, and we understand that pasuk is making a comparison. Iskish seir hamishtalech leseir hanasa b'fnim. There's a comparison between the seir hamishtalech la'azozel and the soir hanasa b'fnim. Ma soir hanasa b'fnim eino mechaper al kohanim al tumas mikdash v'kadoshav. Just like the soir hanasa b'fnim is not a kapara for the kohanim by tumas mikdash v'kadoshav. T'chsiv be asher la'am, because it says for the people, it's for Yisraelim, for Tamas Mikdash v'Kadashav. Af so'ir hamishtaleach, so to the so'ir hamishtaleach, eino mechaber ala kohanim b'shar averos. That's not the kapara for the kohanim by shar averos. Rather, again, it's like Rabbi Shimon said, it is the viduy of shalpar, which is mechaber ala kohanim b'shar averos. And the Gemara continues, Rabbi Yehuda Amar Lach. Now Rabbi Yehuda will say to you, why is there this comparison between the Sor HaMishtalech and the Sor HaNasa Bifnim? Lahachi Yiskash, the comparison is really as follows, for the following reason, Sheyushavim b'mara uvekome uvedomim, that the two goats should be equal in terms of their appearance, in terms of their size, and in terms of their value. Hu da'asa, that's what the hekesh is for. And the Gemara continues, Man Tana Lahad Tanu Rabbanan, who is the Tana of the following Brisa? The Brisa says, V'shachat as Seir Hachatos Asher La'am. It says that he's going to shecht, he's going to slaughter the Seir Hachatos Asher La'am. That's a reference to the Sor HaNasa Bifnim. She'ein HaKohanim Mischapren Bo, because the Kohanim, they don't get a kapara through the Sor HaNasa Bifnim. Uvamem Mischapren, and through what do they get a kapara? Beparo Shel Aaron, they get a kapara through the bull that is brought by Aaron, by the Kohen Gadol. Yachol Lo Yischapru Beparo Shel Aaron. Now one might think that they don't get a kapara through the power of Aaron. Sharei Kvar Nemar Asher Lo, because it says it's his, as if it's only a kapara for him. And Me'ata Ein Lehen Kapara. And if you're going to say that, it's going to come out that the Kohanim don't get any kapara whatsoever. But Kishuomer Yechaper ala Kohanim, but when it says there is a kapara for the Kohanim, Matzino Lehen Kapara, so we do see that they do get some kind of kapara. And so by Mehin Mischaper, so how are they going to get a kapara? They must be getting a kapara through something. So Mutav Sheyischaper Beparo Shel Aaron, better that we say that they get the kapara through the par of Aaron. Sharei Hutter Mechlolo Eitzel Beso, because it's Hutter Mechlolo, meaning it's not just a reference. It doesn't just say that it is to Aaron, it says his entire household. As Rashi over here says, Hutter Mechlolo Mechlal Shamar Asher Lo. It says again, to him, to Mashma Lo V'lo La'acherim, which sounds like it's for him and not for others, but then Eitzel Beso, but it is by his household. T'chsiv V'chiper Ba'ado V'yad Beso. It says it's a kapara for him and for his household. And so therefore, since it says that, it makes sense to say that the Kohanim get a kapara through Paro Shel Aaron. Ve'al Yischapru B'sor HaNasa Bifnim, and don't say that they get the kapara through the Sor HaNasa Bifnim. Shelo Hutter Mechlolo Eitzel Beso, because that's not something that affects the kapara with regards to his household. V'yem nafshach lomer, and if you have any kind of opposition to this logic, harehu omer, the pasuk says, Beis Aaron baruch es Hashem, Beis Halevi baruch es Hashem, Yirei Hashem baruch es Hashem. And Rashi explains, V'yem nafshach lomar lahakshos klum ala medrash hazeh. If you have any kind of question against this medrash, u'lekamim meforish ma yesh lo lahakshos. The Gemara later on will explain what question you might have asked. Hareyu omer al karchach hamikra milamedcha. The pasuk over here by saying Beis Aaron, it's teaching you shemischaprim beparo shel Aaron, that the Kohanim get a kapara through the bull of Aaron. Shenemar Beis Aaron baruch es Hashem. It says Beis Aaron baruch es Hashem. Harei kol haKohanim kriyin beis. So you see that all Kohanim are called his household. Hareihem bechlal uviad beis. So therefore they're included in the term of ad beso, and therefore you see again they get the kapara through that. And so the Gemara continues, Man Tana, so who is the author of this brisa? The Gemara now wants to explain what this brisa means. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah says, the Loka Rabbi Yehuda does not seem like Rabbi Yehuda. The Rabbi Yehuda, because if it was following Rabbi Yehuda, Ha'amar Kohanim Yeshlan Kapara B'sor HaMishtalech. One of the lines in the brisa is that if we don't say they get this kapara, it's going to turn out they get no kapara whatsoever. But that would not be true according to Rabbi Yehuda, because Rabbi Yehuda says that Kohanim, they get a kapara by Sha'ar Averos through the Sor HaMishtalech, so they would be getting some kind of a kapara. So that line would not make sense in the brisa. Umani, so therefore, who is the author of this brisa? Rava says Rabbi Shimon. The author of this brisa is Rabbi Shimon. Diamar Kohanim ein lehem kapara b'sar hamishtalech. Because again, Rabbi Shimon says Kohanim do not get a kapara through the sar hamishtalech. And according to the way Rava is understanding the brisa is therefore referring to sha'ar averos. It's referring to other averos. And the brisa is saying by other averos, how are the Kohanim going to get a kapara? They're going to get a kapara through the power of Aaron. Again, as Rabbi Shimon said before, it's through that vidoy over that par. And likewise, Rabbi Shimon also says again that it's through the dam hapar that they get, that the Kohanim get a kapar in terms of Tumas Mikdash v'Kadashav, and again that can be what the Brisa is referencing. And the Gemara continues with a different understanding of the Brisa. Abaye says, Afilu Tamer Rabbi Yehuda. You could even say that the Brisa is Rabbi Yehuda. Now again, Rabbi Yehuda said, when it comes to Sha'ar Averos, the Sar HaMishtaleach provides a kapara for both Yisraelim and Kohanim, and so according to this approach, we're going to say that the Brisa is only talking about Tumas Mikdash v'Kadoshav. It's not talking about Sha'ar Averos, and Hachi Kamar, this is what the Brisa would be saying, Me'ato ein lehem kapara b'Tumas Mikdash v'Kadoshav. If they're not going to get a kapara, then they're going to have no kapara when it comes to Tumas Mikdash v'Kadoshav. Kishu Omer Yechaper al Kohanim, but when it says there is a kapara for the Kohanim, Matzino sheyesh lehem kapara b'Sha'ar Averos, so there we find that there's a kapara by other Averos, just like we find that they have a kapara by other averos, kach yeshlan kapara, so too they have a kapara again by Tumas Mikdash v'Kadoshav. And Rashi explains the lo Rabbi Yehuda. Again, the Gemara initially said Rabbi Yirmiyah's answer was that the Brisa does not follow Rabbi Yehuda. Elok Rabbi Shimon, rather it follows Rabbi Shimon. The Yomar kol kaparosein bepar teluyos, because again Rabbi Shimon says all kaparas for Kohanim depend on the par, whether it be the blood of the par or the confession over the par, as we said. The Rabbi Yehuda, because if it followed Rabbi Yehuda, inami lo mechapri bepar, even if there was no kapara with the par, is lu kapara mios besoyer hamishtaleach b'shar averos. Again, as we said, there would at least be a kapara through the sar hamishtaleach for other averos, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Yudalid Amud Aleph.